Where you go.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tech Tuesday with Out of the Box. Today's webinar will cover accurate financials, the key to franchise profitability. Thanks so much for joining us. Today's presenter is our very own Audrey Geisman, VP of Franchise at Out of the Box and overall QuickBooks guru. Audrey brings a strong track record of driving revenue growth, improving operational efficiencies, and enhancing client satisfaction to her role as VP of Franchise. Audrey excels in strategic planning, change management, and client success operations. Her technical expertise includes key platforms like QuickBooks Online, Gusto, ADP, and Salesforce. Whether Audrey is implementing best-in-class onboarding and client success strategies or spearheading complex projects to drive business transformation, her goal is always to enable sustainable growth for her franchise clients, as you well know. As for me, my name is Jeanette Schwartz-Rattan. I'm Director of Marketing here at Out of the Box, and I will be your moderator for the day. Just a few quick housekeeping items before we get started. This session is being recorded, so you don't have to give yourself carpal tunnel taking all of the notes. We will share it with you within the next 24 hours once we wrap up here. There should be time for some questions, but if you have something pressing that you'd like us to address in real time, feel free to chat that question to us in the Q&A box, and we will address that as we go along. A little bit about Out of the Box if you haven't joined us before, or maybe it's been a little while. Here at Out of the Box, our mission is to empower entrepreneurs with the QuickBooks-based tools and financial tools, services, and insights they need to thrive. Out of the Box is the premier choice for QuickBooks accounting services, boasting over 30 years of experience and a track record of exceeding the expectations of more than 50,000 satisfied clients. Our comprehensive accounting solutions save you time and money while providing you with the financial accuracy, security, and insights necessary to grow your business. As an elite QuickBooks solution provider, we are able to offer you exclusive discounts on Intuit products, so please be sure to connect with us before purchasing your QuickBooks solutions. With that, I believe I have covered all of our housekeeping items, so I'm going to hand it off to our esteemed Audrey.
Thanks, Jeanette. I don't know about esteemed, but it is good to be here with everyone. I see there's still a few people joining, which is great. I'm gonna talk through today just what bookkeeping means, what it means for you as a business owner, and just kind of all things accounting, finance related. If you have questions, you can, as we're going, you can feel free to throw them in the chat. I'm not sure. Jeanette, can people just ask questions?
Yeah, either in the chat box or in the Q&A.
Got it. So in the Q&A or the chat, you can feel free to drop a question and we will get going. All right. I'm just gonna share my screen here. Oh, maybe not. Jeez. Yikes. All right, let's see. There we go. All right. All right. What does reliable accurate bookkeeping mean for you? As Jeanette announced, I am Audrey Geisman. I'm the Vice President of all things franchise over here at Out of the Box, which means I help the entire service team make sure that we're delivering the right financials. I partner with the franchisor to make sure we're helping you meet their standards when it comes to financial reporting, and that we just understand the intricacies of your franchise system, since there's kind of a lot out there. All right. All right, so this session is recorded. Like Jeanette said, we will make sure that you guys get a copy after this. I'm sure Jen will send it out to everyone. Again, if you have questions, throw them in the chat. And we will get to them. There's definitely some time at the end to talk about it as well. Well, maybe. I have a lot of fun accounting stuff to talk about. So we might just have so much fun with accounting. We may not even get to Q&A, but we'll see how it goes. All right, so Out of the Box is a subject matter expert in the following franchise. We work with over 80 different franchise systems, 40 systems in which we do the majority of their bookkeeping, and then others that we mostly do QuickBooks. We provide QuickBooks for, or we're doing QuickBooks advising for them. We are a member of the IFA as well. So we're going to start with a few questions. You can just think about them, or if you want to throw your answer in the chat so we can see, that'll be great. So, which of the following describes your role with Realty One Group? Are you a bookkeeper, accountant? Are you an ops manager? Are you a marketing expert? Are you the CEO or owner, or are you all of the above? We know that for a lot of franchisees, when they start off, that E is probably the choice that happens. They are everything to the business. You're spending your time doing ops, doing marketing, owning the company, and everything like that. So Out of the Box is here to talk about option A, but I know that a lot of that, everything falls on you all. All right, so today we're going to talk about the difference between bookkeeping, accounting, and FP&A. Why is it important, and how do we get there? All right, so what is bookkeeping? Seems like an easy question. Bookkeeping is the process of recording, organizing, and maintaining a business's financial transactions, ideally so that those financial records are accurate and up to date. For the most part, this is a general term. So for most bookkeeping, it means managing accounts payable, so like entering bills, a lot of data entry pieces, recording transactions, recording income as it comes in, making sure the bank accounts match the bank statements, making sure the credit cards match the credit card statement, and kind of just like routine financial activities. Most of bookkeeping is tracking what has already happened. So it's kind of the transactions have happened, the income has come in, and we're kind of just marking it down on the bookkeeping side to make sure that your financials match what's actually happening at your business. Oh, there we go. Another question for you all. How do you know if your business is having a good year? So when you are looking at, we're getting close to Q4 of 2025, but when you're looking at 2024, how do you know if your business had a good year? Are you reviewing financials? Are you living your life through bank account balances where you're just checking the bank, and if there's money in there, we're good. And if there's money's getting low, we're feeling a little nervous. Are you doing it based on how busy your team has been? So, is busyness equaling production for you, or is it based on how often people are calling and needing you, or is there another way that you're kind of tracking your business? So for most business owners, especially when you first start out, a lot of it is letter B. So looking at your bank balances, do you have money to hire that next person? Do you have money to run that next campaign? Do you have money coming in to do the next thing that you want to do? Our hope is that as bookkeepers and accounting professionals, that we can help you move a little bit closer to A, and that you're measuring your business off of your financials, and that those records are accurate and ready to go.
Oh, and by the way, you guys could pop your polling questions or your answer into chat if you wanted to.
Mhm.
I think I have a delay.
And if not, no worries. I have some more
It's
trivia
fine.
later, and
Yeah.
we'll have some fun. All right. And then what are 3 questions every business owner should ask when they get their financials, especially as you're getting towards the end of the year? The first one is, how much money did I make? So that when we are saying that, we're talking about how much income did you make? So that very top line on your profit and loss statement, how much revenue did you invoice for? Did you actually take and get? The next part is, where is it? Where is all that money that came in? Where did it go? Was it going to expenses? Was it going to cost of goods? Were you paying out commissions? Was it going to marketing? Was it going to meals and entertainment? Where was that money going? And then how much will I owe in taxes? So if you're waiting and your financials aren't up to date and current, you may be very stressed going into the end of the year because you may not know you may not be able to tax plan until you're in the moment and filing taxes, and you don't want to have a huge tax liability coming out. If you kind of know throughout the entirety of the year, you'll see kind of what your bottom line is, possibly start doing some tax planning, knowing how much you're going to owe in tax. And then you can make financial decisions like, do you need to spend more of your money? Right? That's always a good thing. Do you need to spend more money to lower your taxable income? You know, are you in a good spot? Are you break even? Where are you at? So knowing month over month allows you to make those decisions as you come into September, October, November, and you're trying to decide what taxes are going to look like for 2025. So you always want to have up-to-date and accurate financials. Ideally, they're closed every month and you have a, you know, a solid number. So with that, there's kind of three separate areas in the accounting and finance world that we really focus on. And you may have heard them referred to differently. Sometimes blanket terms like accounting or bookkeeping are kind of spread across all of the different areas that we use. So out of the box and at previous places that I've worked at in the outsourced accounting space, these are kind of how we define bookkeeping, accounting, and FP&A. So bookkeeping, again, is kind of the past. The transaction happens, your bookkeeper records it. They're making sure all the data is in there correctly. Yes, they're doing some journal entries, but they're really just recording what has happened at your business. So they're not doing any forecasting. They're not trying to help you understand, you know, your P&L and your balance sheet. They're just kind of recording what's been happening. So you have this story of your company over a year or 10 years or however long. Accounting is kind of the next step up. So you kind of go bookkeeper and then accountant. An accountant is kind of taking those results and analyzing and interpreting them. So that's when you start seeing people give you numbers like your gross margin. You might see some balance sheet ratios. You're going to see, you know, probably them doing some journal entries to make sure your accounting is true accrual basis, maybe making sure it's, you know, GAAP, which is generally accepted accounting principles. So you're starting to see a little bit higher level work done at the accounting level. So that makes sure that they're kind of working in the present. So the bookkeeper would have put everything in, the accountant is kind of looking at those results, verifying them and reporting them out to you. And then FP&A, so that's financial planning and analysis. That is usually typically done by a controller, would be the title of that person. And that's your future. So those people are looking at what has happened and what do we think is going to happen in the future based on how your business has been doing, things you have on the horizon. So the number of leads you have, they're factoring all of that information in, not just looking in the past and saying, well, last month you did 30,000, this month we think you're going to do 35. They're kind of taking in more pieces of information that aren't just accounting. So again, how many leads you have in, how many marketing campaigns are you running, what was your previous ROI on marketing? And they're using that to build things like a cash flow forecast. So a cash flow forecast is something that typically it's done in a quarter. So in 13-week cash flow forecast would show you all the ins and outs that are expected in your business over the next quarter and when you would run out of cash. You know, those can be built out longer or shorter depending, but they're looking more in the future. So you can kind of predict, okay, we know every April we have a huge insurance bill that needs to come. So that would be in the cash flow forecast, you know, earlier in the year in maybe February. So you can plan for it in the future. So they're doing more of that analysis, creating budgets, measuring your budget versus actuals, the future piece, the what if scenarios, you know, what if you hire someone, how much more is that gonna, and you change your head count, is that gonna help make you money? Is it gonna, you know, obviously if you hire someone, you got payroll costs, tax costs. So they're helping you make those strategic decisions a little bit more. And then if you're going even farther, you would have someone like a CFO who's even higher strategic, and they're typically helping if you're going through a sale or a merge, or you're looking for investors or selling to private equity or something like that. So out of the box, these are the three things that we can help with, is the bookkeeping through the FP&A piece. So again, just another look at it. These are more task-based. So bookkeepers, again, they're kind of recording transactional. They're a little more data focused. They're taking the data they have, making sure it's in the right place, preparing the financial statements. Then you have the accounting piece, which is, you know, explaining the financial trends, kind of looking at the financial statement, offering some guidance based on the trends that they're seeing, and really ensuring that compliance and that you're ready for like a CPA or an audit or anything like that. And then again, the FP&A piece is about thinking about the future. So, building that budget based on your industry, modeling scenarios, and looking at performance analysis. All right, so why is all of this important? Why can't you just run your business out of your bank account? Why do you need to know all this information and kind of see what's happening? First, roughly 82% of all businesses fail due to poor cash flow, which just means that they don't understand what's happening with their cash. They know they're booking jobs, money's coming in, but they're not able to understand what's really happening with the money going out. So those 8 reasons in the kind of lower right-hand corner are typically what we see as reasons why businesses aren't doing well. So again, timing of money in and out. Like I said, it's sometimes when big expenses come, like if you have an insurance renewal or things like that, but sometimes you don't know when big expenses are going to come, when your vehicle is going to break down, or your rent's going to go up, or things like that. You may not know always, so not monitoring that cash flow to know if you're ready to take that kind of expense on. Another one is overestimating future sales. It's all businesses want to grow. I've never sat and consulted with a client and they were like, you know what? My business is good. We want to stay the same or get smaller. No one's ever said that to me. Everyone wants some growth factor, whether it's into a different segment or a different company or just the company they are. So sometimes in that optimistic state, remember, I'm an accountant by trade, so I am very statistical, analytical, numbers driven. Um, as you all are entrepreneurs, you are probably much more optimistic than I am about anything because I'm very risk adverse. I wish I could be an entrepreneur and go out into the world and do something really cool, like own a franchise or own a business, but I'm too scared. So congratulations to all of you on being entrepreneurs. It's too much risk for my accountant lifestyle, but so what we sometimes see though is that optimism overestimating future sales and thinking like, oh, sales next month are going to be X when we don't actually have the data to back it up or the right forecast to see what it's really going to be. Another one, I don't think this happens too much for you all, but letting receivables pile up. So if you're doing something for someone and they're supposed to pay you in 15 days and we're letting that get way out and they're not paying for 90 days or 120 days, not so good. Overspending too soon. So putting out too much money before you have it in, mismanaging debt. You can usually negotiate a lot of terms of debt. So make sure you are negotiating terms of debt and you aren't just agreeing to whatever someone says. Obviously controlling expenses, not having a cash reserve, and then again, failing to align payment terms with suppliers. So if you have someone you're buying something from, you want to, try to line up when you owe them money with when you'll have money coming in. So making sure you understand your cash flow is huge. Typically, franchises are have a better outcome 4 years after they start than an independent business. But still, you want to make sure you're tracking all of this stuff, even though you are supported in the franchise world by your system. You still want to make sure you're not letting that cash just kind of bleed out and then you're at zero and then you have to get more money in and then that like up and down is very hard to manage. All right, accurate financials equal growth opportunity. So if you are trying to get another loan or you're trying to bring on an investor or a partner or open another business or eventually sell your company, you're typically required to provide financial information to banks, insurance, investors, things like that. So if they're accurate and they're up to date, it's easy. You just message your accountant or bookkeeper and they pop them over to you. You can send them right on off. It also protects your investment. So you know where your money is, how much debt you have, how many assets you have, what's your liquidity ratio, things like that. And then again, if you need to sell your business, you want to open another location, you want to buy a different territory, you want to get a loan, you need your tax returns, having them accurate at all times and up to date allows you to just do that stuff very quickly without having to do a whole cleanup. It's very expensive if you have neglected your financials for longer than 6 to 12 months to get them cleaned up. especially again, time of year for us. So as we're coming into fourth quarter and then first quarter of the next year, that's the busy time for accountants, CPAs, any sort of firm. So if your books need a cleanup during that time frame, it's going to be very expensive and it may not be very quick just because there's a backlog of work starting, even for us, like October starts kicking off people wanting budgets and things for 2026. So there's that tax planning and budget planning and things like that happening. So kind of October through April, it can be very busy, which means if you need cleanup then it could not happen in that time frame, depending on who you're using. It could get pushed out. You could still have to file an extension for your taxes or pay penalties. So you want to make sure things are accurate all the time and you avoid that, $10, $15, $20,000 cleanup because your books haven't been looked at and or kept up to date for months and months and months. However, if that is the case, they aren't updated. Now is a good time as we are still in third quarter to start that cleanup process if you do need that, because again, if you can get it caught up by the end of the year, then right, January 1 rolls over, we're ready to kind of close December and get your financials out to you and your CPA. So some of the benefits of making informed decision or of having clean financials and up-to-date financials are that you are able to make informed decisions. You're seeing how much you're spending on marketing. You're seeing if that's increasing your revenue month over month. Maybe you look and you upped marketing 10,000 a month and revenue staying flat in the months following that. You're like, maybe that $10,000 isn't worth it. Maybe you put $10,000, maybe you hire someone and suddenly you hire a salesperson, you see revenue start climbing, then that person is, that was a good decision. And it's just, you can kind of compare yourself month over month. So I always say a profit and loss statement is kind of like a report card. When you look at it and you look at January, what grade would you give your company? Was it an A? Did you have a ton of sales? Expenses were down, you had a good bottom line, or were sales not great and it was more of a C month, and then you kind of get to start over again in February and see what happened, what changes you made, did it make any changes to your bottom line. And then the financial statements that we typically look at are balance sheet, an income statement, and cash flow statement. All can be run out of QuickBooks. I'm a big fan of doing everything comparatively. So if you are running an income statement, you should run it for at least 6 months if you have 6 months worth of data or longer. That way you can kind of see the trends over time. You can also see if something feels misaligned. So if you look at it and you see a huge expense that really should have been an asset on the balance sheet, you can kind of make those corrections. A few more benefits, which we kind of talked about, but if everything is ready and up to date, you're ready for tax season, you're ready for loans, you're ready for investors, anything. If the government were to ask you for stuff, you have everything ready to go. You're not having to, again, spend time and money on a cleanup that is going to just cost a lot more in the end. So if you choose to use out of the box for your outsourced accounting needs, again, we do have everything from the bookkeeping, which again is the transaction entering, accounting a little bit higher level, and FP&A services. This is what you get. You get the expertise, you get increased efficiency, you get the accuracy. We will close your books by a certain time every month, so you get consistent, reliable financials that you can look at month over month. Reduce likelihood of fraud. You have a cost savings because you're not waiting until the end of the year. And typically, if you have to pay your CPA to clean up the books, it's even more expensive than paying like just an accounting firm. So you can have a cost savings, you have increased control, you have a dedicated bookkeeper, dedicated manager on your account that you can reach out and ask questions to whenever you need. So that way, even in May, you're like, oh, I really need financials for this loan. They're ready to go. You're not waiting you don't have to wait till the end of a quarter or a time like that. Which leads us to some more out of the box benefits. So a big thing in the financial world is segregation of duties. We don't want one person that holds all the keys to the kingdom over here. So you have a dedicated bookkeeper on your team that's doing your books on a daily basis. Then we have a dedicated review team. So someone is always reviewing their work. That way their work isn't just being done and sent to you, and you shouldn't have to be reviewing your bookkeeper. Yes, you should let them know if there's changes and things like that, but we do have someone reviewing everyone's work before financials are set out. We do have a discount on Intuit products and services, so if you're looking to sign up for QuickBooks, and that is all Jen over here. She would be the one who could help you with any sort of discounts on the QuickBooks merchant services, QuickBooks payroll, all of that. You get a monthly profit and loss and a balance sheet. We work very hard to make sure anyone who's working on a Realty One group client is consistently allocating expenses to the same categories. We make sure your wages are going to the right places. So if you have agents and commissions and office admin and other people, we make sure that we understand that and that those wages are going to the right place. So you, again, you have the ability to track them and see where your money's going. And then we do a deeper level review at the end of the year before your financials go to your CPA for taxes, which includes running like year to date payroll and bank statements, just so we can make sure that everything is tied out all the way through the end of the year, just in case, just a double check on our end. And then again, oh, last one's kind of same, but yes, we always have a senior team member reviewing the accounts before they go out. All right, has there been any questions? I can't see like the chat from when I have all the screen share up.
Not yet. All good.
All good?
All good.
All right, well, my plan was to play a little game and see how much accounting knowledge everyone has. So we're gonna see if it'll work. Let me switch my share. So hopefully it works. I'm in this webinar view. It's hard. I can't see everyone's beautiful faces today in this view, but if you can, we will send out, a little prize to the winner of here. So all you have to do is you can do it on your phone or on your computer. You just type in you don't have to sign up. You don't have to make an account, anything like that. You can type in www.kahoot.it, and then it'll ask you for a game pin. You can copy and paste that in, and then it'll just ask you for your name. You don't have to put like your full name or anything like that. Just your first name. And then we'll go through. Oh, there we go. Yes, Kimberly, jumping in first. We'll go get a Roy coming in, and then we'll start. It's just 10 questions. So how Kahoot works is the correct answer and the fastest answer gets the most points. So then at the end, it'll tell us who the winner is. So we don't have to calculate anything on our side. It'll keep track of it. It'll get really excited if you get a few in a row. It's a whole exciting thing for us. But yeah, whoever's the winner, we'll make sure we send you out a gift card or something for playing along with my fun games. You know, there's more of you out there. I know accounting is not the most exciting. I promise this is kind of fun. Just know if we were in person, we could have done this game live and held up cards, which would have been even more fun maybe one day. Give everyone another minute to see if they can.
Going back to the
log
old
in.
school card games, Audrey.
Yep. Hold it up. It's different colors and shapes, I think, in Kahoot. There we go. All right, we got 11. Anyone else dare to join and see if they can remember all the accounting knowledge we just kind of went through? All right, I'm gonna switch it here. We'll give everyone one more minute till the half hour, then I'll get it going.
I love
So again,
these games.
Yeah, me too. I'm also super competitive. I'm a nerdy accountant who's super competitive. So I love all these games too because I love having a score for any
It's your
reason.
topic, so it's not fair.
It is, yeah. Well, I'm not playing, so I can't win. I've already won by getting to have this webinar and make this game. So we'll get it started here. Again, fastest answer and correct. So if you're correct, but someone's faster, they get more points, but you'll see it all as we go. All right, Kahoot at work. You get 20 seconds, I think, roughly to answer. The first one's a poll. You can be honest. How do you feel about accounting? You love it, it's okay, not a fan, and you just hate it.
I'm eager to see this answer.
Maybe I am. I mean, I know my answer. We'll see. Oh, not too bad. We got
Oh,
some love.
that's
We got some love.
good.
Only a tiny bit of hate.
It's pretty equal on love and hate, though.
Yeah. All right. Good news.
Hmm.
All right. Let's see. Which document shows a company's income? So again, the faster you answer, the right your answer is. As long as your answer is right, the fastest person gets the most points. I don't think you guys can hear it, but it also plays like a fun beat. Good job. 7 people were correct. The income statement shows your company's income. It's also called a profit and loss. You'll see it different ways depending on who's sending it to you. But it's the same thing. Balance sheet, on the other hand, shows your assets, liabilities, and your equity. All right, let's. Oh, Megan, coming out strong. All right. Number 3. Why is accurate bookkeeping critical for a business? To track daily transactions, ensure reliable financial reporting, make informed decisions, or all of the above. Also, if you're out there and you haven't joined and you want to, the pin is still at the bottom. You can join at any point. Good job. All of the above. So you want to track those transactions. You also want to make sure you can report out financially and make informed decisions. See, Megan staying on top. Good job. Kimberly coming in there. All right. How can poor financial management impact a business? Cash flow problems, inability to plan, missed opportunities for growth, all of the above. Also, we don't want you to be like this poor woman who's having to use her calculator and these papers. Great job. All of the above. Oh, Megan's on fire, but it looks like Kimberly answered it just a little bit faster. All right, what is a liability? Is it a debt owed, a revenue source, an expense incurred, or an asset owned? So you would see this on your balance sheet, which is again where you see your assets, your liabilities, and then your equity. Good job. It is a debt owed. So liabilities are what you owe. That's why your credit card show as a liability, loan shows a liability, any payables, payroll taxes you owe. An asset is anything you have. So buildings, cash, things like that. Oh, Megan back on top. 3 people have gotten 3 in a row. Good job, guys. How often should financial statements be prepared and reviewed? Monthly, weekly, daily, annually? Good job. Monthly. You can't really prepare them daily. Weekly. Annually is way too late. All right, Megan. Are we hiring it out of the box? Because we might want to send Megan a little something. Why might investors want to see a company's financial statements? A, to ensure accuracy and reliability. Oh, I guess they're not really letters. See marketing plans, review employee salaries, or to cook the books. Hopefully not to cook the books. We try to avoid that. Good job. To ensure accuracy and reliability. Oh, Roy coming out. Just 40 points behind. All right, couple more questions. What is an asset? So we talked about a liability being a debt owed. So what is a liability or an asset? A revenue source, an expense incurred, a resource owned, or a debt owed. There you go. It is a resource owned. So a revenue source. shows on your P&L as the money coming in. The cash part is what you actually own, so that would be an asset. How we doing? All right, Megan, hanging on. It's rare that I've seen someone stay on top so long. Which scenario best illustrates the risk of not having a qualified bookkeeper? Financial records are updated regularly and accurately. Bank reconciliations are performed monthly. Expenses are misclassified, leading to inaccurate financial reports and taxes. Your monthly management reports are timely and detailed. Good. Expenses are misclassified, leading to inaccurate financial reports and taxes. So that may not seem like a huge deal, but sometimes what we see is if you have a bookkeeper or accountant who may not know as much as they should, what tends to happen is if they're misclassifying stuff on the balance sheet, so if they're not sure how to use like liability and asset accounts correctly, and they're posting stuff to the balance sheet that should be on the P&L, you're losing out on that expense to lower your taxable income. So you want to make sure stuff is being posted in the right accounts because it does have an impact on the taxes you might have to pay. It also has, impact on the decisions you might want to make in the future. So we always want to make sure things are getting to the right place. Uh-oh. Look at Roy coming in. We got 2 more questions here. So what is a common consequence of relying on an untrained personnel for bookkeeping and financial analysis? Improved financial accuracy, enhanced budgeting forecasts, increased risk of noncompliance with regulations and potential penalties, or faster audit process. There we go. Good job, guys. We want to always make sure that you have someone doing a good job on your bookkeeping because you definitely don't want to get caught in the penalties for taxes or sales tax or anything like that. Oh, GK, moving up. Last question. Which of the following is not one of ROG's 6 C's? I was creeping on the website today, so which one is not one of the 6 C's? Tried to be tricky and sneak it in. No, look at you. Wow, you guys know them. Great work. Compassion is not one. It was care. All right, let's see who the champion was. In 3rd place, we had Megan. Great job, Megan. She was sitting on that podium the whole time. 2nd place, GK. And on the top of the charts, we got Roy. Great job, Roy. Congratulations to all of you. Thanks, everyone, for playing in my game. I appreciate it. You should get a Kahoot score, too, just in case you want to remember this day.
Do we
And we'll make
have
sure
Roy's information?
Yeah,
I'm sure he's on the register.
Yes.
Yeah, if we
Okay.
Yep.
I just wanted to
We'll
make sure.
we send a little something out to Roy. Also a job application. All right, let me hop back in here. We went through this one. All right, so how can out of the box help? So as we're going through this, if you're thinking about your financials and you think any of those situations apply to you, we would love to be a resource that can help you with our dedicated team. Like I said, we have bookkeepers, accountants, and controllers who can help in all those facets. So first off, this is where we always start. Is there something strange on your balance sheet? So if you pull up your balance sheet, do you see negative bank balances? Do you see negative loan balances? Do you see unpaid payroll or tax liability sitting there? If you see anything that's negative, that isn't something like amortization or depreciation, but you're seeing a bunch of negative numbers, that's a sign that things are being coded incorrectly, or we're coding all of the loan straight to the loan and not breaking out the principal and interest. If your assets are missing, so if you're not seeing a franchise fee, if you're not seeing equipment or leases, buildings, things that you have are paying for, sorry, I didn't mean leases, I mean leasehold improvements. If you're not seeing that stuff on your balance sheet, that's a good time to call us. Same thing, accounts that should be on the P&L. So if you're seeing, the big one we see is sometimes we'll see like payroll taxes showing on the P&L, like showing an increase on the balance sheet month over month, and it's not moving over to the P&L. We want to make sure that if that was an actual expense that you paid, not something you owe, that we're getting it on the P&L. So again, your taxable income is correct. So again, if there's something strange on your balance sheet, who are you going to call? Out of the box, specifically Jen. All right, then if there's something weird on your P&L, same thing, you're going to call out of the box and Jen. So again, some weird things you might see, negative income. So if you're seeing, if you look at your income line and it's negative, I don't think you've given that many discounts. So we should check on that. If you're scanning through your expense lines and you're seeing negatives, maybe it's a credit, but likely it could be something's, maybe those should be on the balance sheet and are on the P&L. Duplicate entries. So if you feel like your revenue or your income is twice what it should be or half what it should be, then we need to check on that. If you're seeing a lot of like change to the numbers every month, but you don't feel like it should be like that. So if you feel like things have been pretty consistent, but you're seeing like 100K in revenue, 6K in revenue, 300K in revenue, 8K in revenue, those are times to call us and let us help you out, because things just might not be getting classified in the right time. No cost, so that's cost of sales. You also see cost of goods sold, typically more in the, service industry. But if you don't have that, so that would be the cost associated with earning revenue. So for you guys, a lot of like the agent fees or commissions, things like that, that you needed to earn the revenue. If you just have income and it goes straight to expenses and you don't have a section on your P&L that says COS or COG, it would be great to chat. And then if you're missing payroll expenses or taxes, like I said, that's one that sometimes gets confused and ends up on a balance sheet instead of being expensed on the P&L. So if you look and you're paying someone $10,000 a month and you are not seeing it on your P&L, there's a chance that maybe it's getting pushed on the balance sheet. Or same thing if you're just seeing wages and you're not seeing taxes, we can look through all of that and help you out. So how it works for us, the first thing we do is we do an onboarding assessment or a complimentary assessment. So we would, look in your QuickBooks file, and kind of go through and look for all of these things. So are there any skeletons in that balance sheet, like things that shouldn't be there? Are there any weird things happening on the P&L? Is there things not coded right? We go through, it doesn't take a super long time, and we kind of go through and find anything that we think is not correct, or doesn't look like it's GAAP, or doesn't look like it's the right accounting. So we go through that and identify any of those needs and scope it out to what we think it would take to clean it up. If we get in there and it's all nice and clean, great. Then we can, take over and do bookkeeping or fractional controller services if you're looking for that next FP&A piece, instead of like if you already have a bookkeeper or someone, you're looking for that next piece, then we can help you there if your company is ready for that. And then, like I said, after we scope, then we come back together and we make the plan together. It's about partnership and us, our bookkeeper and you working together to get the financials that you need and making sure you have the insights that you need to run your business. So when we come back together, we would talk about the plan. So is there only certain tasks you want us to take over? Is there other things we can help with? Are you looking for the fractional controller piece? Are you just looking for bookkeeping? We would define what that is. I know if you've talked to Jen, we should have some set bookkeeping prices with Audrey so she can give you all that information. So that's where she would be the one to discuss the pricing with you and make sure you understand exactly how it all works. And then together, if you're ready to start working with us, we meet, do a kickoff meeting with our bookkeeper or our account manager. We meet together and make sure that you guys can start building a trusting relationship and a partnership where they're getting the information they need, you have the information you need, and you can continue to grow your business. So just kind of the typical monthly bookkeeping stuff that Out of the Box does for ROG and most of our clients. is we make sure your revenue's in the right spot. We make sure all your vendors are being categorized the same. So if you're buying stuff from one vendor, even if it's just like staples, right? If it's going to office supply, we make sure it's always going to office supply. So you don't see any weird inconsistencies. We make sure all your payroll is getting to the right place, including commissions that you're paying out. You reconcile all your banks, all your credit cards, all your loans every single month to make sure that they tie back to the statements. The statements to us are a source of truth. So if the bank says the balance is this, then we want to make sure QuickBooks also says the same thing. Same on all your loan statements. A few more for us here. Oh. So we do the accounting adjustments. So interest, that's just making sure that if you have loans, we're splitting the principal and interest. So your loan doesn't show negative at some point. Amortization. So if you have goodwill, franchise fees, startup costs, we're amortizing that. We typically don't do depreciation, but we will book all the entries from your CPA. So if your CPA has a depreciation log for you, we can do all the adjusting entries to make sure our books match your CPA's books. Sometimes people would just want to keep it separate, but we can do either one. We do a monthly bookkeeping review. Our bookkeepers are also happy to meet with you if you want to talk through your financials and what's going on and ask questions. Again, we really want to focus on partnership. We want to see your company growing only helps us grow, and we want to be part of that journey. So ongoing communication, you'll hear from our team. Sometimes, you know, again, we're all accountants over here, so we want to get it right. So you'll hear from us wanting statements and loans and loan docs and things like that, so we can make sure everything's correct. And then we make sure that you get your financial statements by an agreed upon date. And then we are getting to August. So like I said, right now, roughly 58% of the fiscal year is over. So it's a good time to check and see if your books are up to date and ready to pass off to your CPA here soon. If they're not, again, Jen will be the person to contact. I have her contact information here towards the end. When we work together, these are our client responsibilities that we ask. So again, it's mostly documentation and communication. So we just need access to your bank or credit cards. You can give us secondary access so we can just pull statements. Now a lot of the banks do integrate well with QuickBooks and the statements come right into QuickBooks. So if that's happening, if you have Chase Bank, I know for sure every single one of those come in. Most of the big banks, I think, like the major banks, the ones that they don't always come in for are credit unions. So if you're using a credit union or like a local state bank or something like that, we may not get them, but into QuickBooks. So just making sure we have that. And then again, we're typically only asking for like loan statements or any big changes. So if you hire a bunch of people, fire a bunch of people, you know, just letting us know. So we don't want to be asking you a ton of questions if after the fact, if we can kind of know ahead of time, and then we can adjust any of our entries then. So we're not having to go back and adjust stuff after the fact. So if you take out a loan, if you pay off a loan, just any of that information is super helpful for us to know from our side. And then just some do's and don'ts. We've seen a lot of interesting accounting out there in the world. I've been in the outsourced accounting world for the last 10 years now. There's a lot of amazing, fantastic bookkeepers, accountants, controllers, and CFOs. There's also not great ones, as there is with every profession. So just don't assume that everyone knows proper bookkeeping procedures. Make sure you're asking questions, no matter who you use for bookkeeping. Make sure you ask questions about what's going on. They're your financials and it's your business at the end of the day, and you should know what they're doing and why they're doing it, and you shouldn't be afraid to ask. We work really hard to make sure our bookkeepers are trained. Our bookkeepers, we have a dedicated team that works with our Realty One clients, so it's not just random bookkeepers all over. It's a set of people that stay on that, and the same reviewer reviews all the ROG clients. So it's not, again, it's not chaotic. It's very systemized over here. So if there's one change or something looks funny, we can compare it or talk to our reviewer, and we build a knowledge base. We call them playbooks for each system. That way everyone's kind of doing things similar and the same and making sure things are, you know, we're not, again, just having one person on an ROG, a different person on an ROG. We try to keep it very systemized. Again, also that everyone knows how to use QuickBooks effectively. If you're on QuickBooks Desktop, everyone is moving to QuickBooks Online. So make sure that if you are using a bookkeeper, they've used QuickBooks Online because it is very different from the desktop version. So if they told you they've only used desktop, be a little leery. And then again, all of our teams are trained. They have accounting degrees. They are here to be experts, and that's what we want to be for you guys. Other business owners are saying this. They're excited. They're not making their decisions based on feelings anymore because they started using out of the box and they have actual real concrete numbers. And that's what we want to provide to you. We don't want you to just, I think we're ready to hire someone. We want you to be able to have that headcount conversation and understand what hiring someone really is going to cost you. Again, our goals, our main goals are to communicate the overall impact of financial transactions at your company and then provide you that data to inform strategic decisions to help you grow your company. And we're just gonna, I went too fast. So again, as we kind of wrap up here, you know, two things you should always ask about your financials. One, are they accurate? Is everything in there that you know has happened? Is there anything missing? Did you know you spent $5,000 on something, but you're not seeing it on your financials? Is the data meaningful? So are there actual trends for you to follow? Is it helpful? If you answered no to those questions, again, that's where you can reach out to Jen here. So the first thing, like I said, we can help with a cleanup. Now's the time before everyone starts rushing in for year end and just everyone's getting busy with year end and holidays and kids back at school and all the things are happening. So we can get everything cleaned up. We can outsource your bookkeeping and accounting. Like I said, we also have FP&A services as well. If you didn't have QuickBooks, we could set it up. I know everyone at ROG has QuickBooks online set up through us. We do have training and consulting, you know, that we can offer as well to help you just review your own books. But yeah, we want to be that back office for you as much as we can be. And that is everything on my end. Does anyone, I feel like I had to go kind of fast, so sorry if that was a lot of information in a short time, but are there any questions out there?
I'm not seeing any yet, Audrey, but we can leave the chat open until we officially close.
And if you have any questions, this is Jennifer's email address. So she is our rep for everything Realty One Group. So you can reach out to her at any time. I'm make sure that email is right. You can reach out to her at any time. Jen, do you want to like put your email address in the chat or
Yeah, I
just
can do that. Hi,
we do also
everyone. So you
have
can
the
reach out to me if you have any questions directly. This does go out to all the attendees, right, Jeanette?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. I'm putting my email into the chat with my phone number here in just a second. It's the world's longest email.
Yeah, so if you have any questions, you're interested in bookkeeping services, cleanup services, additional service, anything like that, anything accounting, bookkeeping related, you can reach out to Jen and she will coordinate efforts on our end. Even if you just want to meet and talk through more things, like I said, we can do, if you're not using us for bookkeeping, we're happy to do a complimentary assessment of the state of your books as they are right now and let you know if we think there is cleanup. We have done that for a few Realty One clients lately, just to see where things are at. Even if you have a bookkeeper, I'm not gonna say I'm the smartest accountant in the world, but I have been doing this for a long time. So even if you have bookkeepers and you just want another set of eyes on it, like I said, the accounting world is big on segregation of duties and making sure other people are double checking things. I'm happy to even just look them over. I'd be the one looking at your QuickBooks to see what's going on, going down your balance sheet, making sure everything's okay. So it won't be sent to some other person. It's all me and Jen here coordinating and making sure that your financials look good, you feel confident, you can get really one what they need, you can get your CPA what they need, you can make decisions. Are you going to grow? Are you going to sell? Like what's happening next? So we'd love to be part of your growth journey and partner with you and see you through. So yeah, if you need anything, again, just feel free to reach out to Jen and she'll coordinate.
Yeah.
And that is everything for me. I appreciate your time. I am aware that accounting is not the most exciting topic in the world. I know it can be really stressful for some people, but that's why companies like Out of the Box exist. We understand what it's like to be a franchise. We understand what it's like to have to wear a lot of hats. And we'd love to take one of those hats and wear it for you.
Oh, thanks, Lauren, for the kind words, by the way.
I can't see anything with my screen share on, but
I
thanks,
know.
Lauren.
Lauren mentioned she was a longtime user of Out of the Box and couldn't live without us.
Yes. Yes, yes. Well, thanks. Yeah, if anyone, like I said, if there's no questions now, feel free to shoot them over to Jen after this. If you think of one later when you're just daydreaming about accounting, feel free to send us your questions. Happily get answers back to you. Jen's a follow-up expert, so she keeps
Yes, ma'am. I try my best, okay? Well, thank you all for joining.
Yeah.
Yes, and thank you to Realty One for helping us get the word out about the webinar. And thanks, Audrey, for sharing your expertise, and Jennifer.
Of course.
And we'll go ahead and we'll close it up. Just a reminder that the recording will be shared with you later today, along with the deck. And have a great day, everybody.
Take care, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.